Good evening, Nghi. Welcome to your IELTS course. And this unit, we focus on session 4. That is to check the homework of Unit 2 writing and to complete a practice test in Cambridge Practice Test 18, specifically test number 2. Okay, so let's start with what we did last time. Okay, so this is lesson 2 writing, unit 2 writing. And in this unit, we looked at advantages and disadvantages questions. We also practiced writing topic and supporting sentences. And we learned about developing our ideas, organizing the ideas so it is coherent and cohesive. All right, and we learned about some less common discourse markers. So let's have a look at some items of vocabulary last time. So we learned words for advantages and disadvantages. Remember that you should use them in your writing in order to increase the variety of your vocabulary. So you don't always repeat advantages and disadvantages. There are other words as well. For example, benefits and drawbacks, negatives and positives, and so on. Yeah, so some of these words, they go in pairs. Remember that? And then we looked at the topic of living in a busy city or increasing life expectancy. And then we learned how to write topic sentences and supporting sentences. So for IELTS essays, there are two main ways to start a paragraph. So you can start the paragraph, for example, in the advantages and disadvantages essay, you can start at the paragraph directly with stating the advantage or disadvantage, the first one. And then you move on to explaining, giving example, and then you move on to the other disadvantage or advantage. So that's one way. The other way is to have a topic sentence. Okay, so remember last time we looked at a sample essay. Yeah, last time we looked at a sample essay, the advantages and disadvantages of having one language in the world. So you can see this is what I meant. So body paragraph 1 is going straight into the topic. One benefit is, another reason is, okay? So the other way is to have a topic sentence. On the other hand, there are obvious disadvantages to having only one global language. Firstly, it would mean, secondly, it would result in. Yeah, so there are two ways for you to organize your body paragraphs. There are some other ways, we'll get to know them more and more, but these are two basic ways. Okay, and in the course book, we learned the direct way, going straight into the topic. Now, there are also supporting sentences. So you can support your main idea in the topic sentence in 4 main ways. You can give specific supporting example. You can analyze the cause and effect to clarify your idea. You can show a contrasting view that looks at the opposite side of the argument, and you can add additional information. So these are completed in 1, 2, and 4, 6, okay? Last time we stopped at exercise 7, and you did really well for the rest of the unit. So you completed at home, and I looked at your homework, and you did really well, okay? So for this unit, do you have any more questions, Nghi?
I do have actually. When I look at the unit 2 writing module that you give it to me, and I really don't know how to how to widen my vocabulary range, because I saw in maybe exercise 1, 2, or maybe 3, it said that you can widen your vocabulary by, use a wide range of words, and I I don't have an exact way to do that?
Okay, so first off, thank you for giving the question. It's a very valid one. Expanding your vocabulary is really important for high scoring in the IELTS writing test. Not only that, but speaking as well. So one thing you can do is to do exercises like this. For example, you complete the exercise. There are many arguments in favor of, so there is a strong case that supports. So you do this exercise and you know what are the synonyms and paraphrases. So you can say, oh, argument, so case, in favor of, supports. Okay, so the number one thing you could do to widen your vocabulary is to do exercises like this, but you don't stop at finding the correct answer. You go one step further. You look at the structures and point out the words that are synonyms and you write them out or you speak them aloud. You say them aloud, okay? So arguments, case, in favor of, supports, or health. Having an effective free health service is very expensive for a country. So puts a lot of strain on public finances. So very expensive, puts a lot of strain on public finances. And if there are any new words, remember to look that up in the dictionary. Okay, so number one thing is to do exercise in this course book and pay attention to the synonyms and paraphrases and write them down. You should have a file on your computer, on your smartphone, or you can have a notebook the traditional way, and you write down the words. So for example, you can organize your notes in terms of topics. So today we learned words about health, right? In Unit 2 about health. You may have some pages for the topic health, and you write down the words for topic health and other exercise as well, okay? So for example, government provided health care. What are some synonyms for that? Yeah, so for example, free public health care, national health service, nationalized health provision, state-funded medical coverage. So what I mean here is when you study, not only doing vocabulary exercises, when you do English exercises in general, when you do that, you notice the words and think about, oh, what might be possible synonyms for this? What are some collocation for this? So what are some similar words to this? And what word goes with this word? Okay, so for example, afford private healthcare. So afford goes with private healthcare. Yeah, so deliver the same level of service and treatment. So deliver service and treatment there. So number one, you do exercise and you don't stop at the correct answer. You move on to look at the words and the synonyms. Number two, you take notes. You take notes of topic-based vocabulary. And yeah, so for example, this unit is health. You write down the health words, the topic-based words, and you think about the synonyms. You think about the collocation, right? So synonym, maybe antonym as well. Okay, so synonyms are words that have the similar meaning, and antonyms are words that have opposite meaning. Okay, so you think about that and you write that down. And collocation as well. Collocations are words that go together. So for example, we often say public or private healthcare. We don't say personal healthcare in this case, right? Because it doesn't mean the same as public healthcare. So think about collocation as well and write them down in your notebook or in your file. Yeah, so you can organize your vocabulary into topics, and in each topic, you write the word. Okay, so for example, healthcare, and then you think of other synonym and antonym. So for example, free public healthcare and national health services, and nationalized, the British spelling, health provision. There you go. So a lot of words for you. State funded medical coverage. You can even write the sentence itself. You can also write the whole sentence. Historically, before government provided healthcare, diseases were much more commonplace in society. Okay, and here you see another word, commonplace. So you start another entry with the word. Maybe you can translate that as well. Okay, you can translate into Vietnamese. Okay, so two things for you to do if you want to expand your vocabulary. So number one is you do the exercise in the course book and you pay attention to the vocabulary you see. Second step, you note that down. You write that down into a notebook, into a file, and you can organize them up according to topic. For example, this is the topic health. And you write the synonym, you write the antonym if available, you write the collocation, and you can even write the full sentence as well. And what else? You translate. Okay, you can translate into Vietnamese. Some teachers they don't agree with translating, but I think translating is also another useful way to learn language. We learn both languages at the same time, and it makes us understand the word more clearly. All right. So two things you can do there. Pay attention to vocabulary when you do exercises, and number two, have a system of records so you can record the words that you learn. Number three, use AI. Okay, so what I mean here is you take advantage of AI, especially ChatGPT, because it's a very strong language AI model. So you ask it whatever you want about English, but specifically about vocabulary, you can ask ChatGPT to give you the common topics in IELTS writing and band 7, 8, and 9 vocabulary for the topic. Yeah, okay. So that's three things you can do. When you do exercise in this book, pay attention to the words, vocabulary, you take notes, have a system for note taking, and number three, you use AI to learn vocabulary. You can ask it, yeah, how can I learn vocabulary better? Or give me band 7, 8, 9 vocabulary for IELTS writing, for example. Yeah, or for the topic health. Okay. So Nghi, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, so remember the three keys there. Pay attention, note taking, and AI. All right. So yeah, thank you for the question there. Okay. All right, we're looking at last week's lesson. So first off, let's have a look at the homework you did in the student's book. So you did really well analyzing the exercises and the introductions and conclusion. I just want to add one point for exercise 10. Maybe you can try to point out for you which is the best introduction, okay? And then you can refer to the sample answer in the course book. I'll put a border around the picture so you can see better, okay? So this is the suggested answer. You can have a look for more detail. All right, and for your writing, I would say it's around the 6.5, 7.0 band scores. Yeah. First off, the task response, you did really well. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this situation and give your own opinion. So you did well. You even added a question, which is also an effective sentence type in IELTS writing essays. Okay, so your task response is you've addressed both sides of the argument and with relevant examples. However, the conclusion is a bit too short and vague. Why? This is because the task ask you not only to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this situation, you also have to give your opinion. Okay, so in fact, there are 3 things you must do in this essay. Number 1, you analyze, you point out, explain, and give example for advantage. What are the advantages of increasing life expectancy? Number 2, you do the same for disadvantages. And number 3, you give your own opinion. What do you think about this trend? Is this a good trend, or is it a positive trend? Is it a negative trend? But actually, in the conclusion, we don't see that. Okay, so it could not get a higher band score because it did not quite fully, completely answer the question. Okay, yeah. Once more, you could elaborate on the idea of healthcare and how it brings strain with some real-world examples and statistics. Yeah. Okay, you don't have to remember the exact number. Maybe just give some approximation. Okay, now the paragraphs are logically ordered. You have some good linking words, but sentence level it is a bit disconnected. Okay, we'll see in the correction. Okay, you have good vocabulary choices. Some of them could be more varied. For example, you can use more synonyms because they are repetition of words like benefit and longer life expectancy. Okay, and here I talked about collocation, right? So collocations are words that go together naturally in English. So this is what we need to learn, right? So number 4, actually, when you ask me about expanding your vocabulary, so the number 4 thing, I think, is to read good samples. So that is why I'm here for you. When you write, try your best, and then I will also try my best to correct your writing and give you with good samples, with natural vocabulary and collocation. So you can learn from that and improve your vocabulary. Okay, so number 4 is to read good samples, reading and writing, and listening as well. Okay, as actually 4 skills. You listen to mock speaking tests at band 8, band 9. You listen to podcast lectures. You read academic papers. You read good essays, and you learn not only the skills, but for other skills as well. Okay, now grammar mostly accurate, but some sentences are a bit simple and could do with more complex ones. Okay, and there are small errors. So we'll have a look at the errors later. So overall, you need to add a clear thesis statement. For example, can you read that aloud? So Nghi, the suggestion for me is that the statement should be clearer to better address the task requirement. So can you read the example?
This essay will argue that despite the strain on healthcare services, the benefits of longer life expectancy outweigh the drawbacks.
That's right. Thank you very much. So there you go. That's a more suitable thesis statement, the plan of the essay. Why? Because it does 3 things. It touched upon the negative side, strain on healthcare service. And it touched upon the benefits, the upside, the advantages. And it touched upon the opinion. The benefits outweigh the drawbacks. So there you see 3 things that the task question require you to do is touched upon in this example. Okay, and in the conclusion, you can, in the body, you can mention the advantages and you can mention the disadvantages, but then in the body, you need to summarize both arguments and remember, state a clear opinion. So do you think the benefits, the advantages are more impactful, are more significant, or is it the other way around? okay? And work on sentence variety and vocabulary variety. So for synonyms of benefit, advantage, drawback, and this is what we did last lesson, Unit 2 writing, okay? Yeah, so here they are. Here are, once again, the synonyms to advantages and disadvantages. So advantages, disadvantages themselves, benefits, drawbacks, positives, negatives, on the upside, on the plus side, the downside, and so on. Okay, all right, so here are the correction for some of the minor mistakes. So for example, the ever-growing scientific studies, okay? So scientific should be the adjective for studies. Yeah, not science. Okay, and if there are two things you want to mention in a sentence, you can link them with and. Okay, they have more time to pursue their dreams and to be with their loved ones. Okay, young people can benefit more from the wisdom handed down to them, who are predominantly older person, skilled craftsmen with their children and grandchildren. So remember, when there are two things you are listing, you don't need a comma. Instead, you use and. Yesterday, I bought a book and a pen. But yesterday, I bought a book, a pen, some paper, and an eraser. So and is used to link two things or the last item with the rest of the list. Okay, and living the longer does not always lead to happiness. Okay, so that's the students' book homework. Also, I've added a Band 8 model essay for your reference. So did you have time to read the model essay?
I haven't read it yet.
Okay, so let me see. Do we have enough time? Okay, just have a look. Yeah, so spend around 2 or 3 minutes. Have a look at the essay, and yeah, the reasons why this essay has a high band score is on the right side. Okay, so I will give you 5 minutes in total. Just have a look at the model essay and the analysis.
Dạ em xong rồi.
Okay. So Nghi, please read that and read that again if you have time, okay? And I would highly suggest that you read and reread and think about the language, think about how academic writing, how the sentences are formed in academic writing. So for example, on the one hand, longer life expectancy can bring substantial benefits. So instead of people who are living longer can bring many good points, right? Instead of writing simply like that, so academic writing, they use a lot of noun phrases. You can see longer life expectancy and substantial benefits. So you see, academic writing often use a lot of noun phrases and advanced nouns. So pay attention to that. What is more, the improvement in this essay is the plan. It answers the question clearly. Okay, so I want to ask you, what is the writer's opinion in this essay?
The writer's opinion in this essay is that the writer thinks that while there are some challenges, but they can be with like policy measures, it can be
Mitigated.
yeah.
They can be mitigated, they can be solved. They can be solved through policies. So does the writer lean more towards the advantages or the disadvantages?
The advantages.
That's right. Okay. So although there are challenges, although there are downsides, with appropriate policy, this trend has more significant advantages. Good job, Nghi. So there you go. Remember that the question not only asks you to discuss the advantages and disadvantages, it also asks you to express your opinion. So this is one way to go. You can have a separate body paragraph to express your opinion if you have a lot to write. On the other hand, if you don't, you can incorporate your opinion into the plan of the introduction and into the summary of the conclusion. Okay, so that's also another way. Right. So now let's have a look quickly at the benefits, the advantages. How many advantages were mentioned in the body one?
Three advantages.
Can you tell me about the three?
The first one is longer period of productivity. The second one is extended lifespan. So youngers can so they can pass down guidance and wisdom to the youngers. And additionally, the advancement in healthcare can maintain a higher quality of life in their years.
Yes, good job. What about the disadvantages?
The disadvantages are they can put strain on healthcare system, and as they live longer, they suffer from diabetes, and like my essay says, they require long term, and so it make the medical healthcare more costly.
So that's only one. Yeah, that's only one disadvantages, putting a strain on healthcare systems. Okay, talking about the health aspect, right? What is the other aspect of the disadvantages?
It can strain government budgets.
That's still healthcare. What is the other aspect that the disadvantages talk about?
And additionally, it may result in shrinking pool of younger workers.
So do you understand what it means by shrinking pool of younger workers?
I don't really get it.
Okay. So if more elderly people are still working or they still remain in the workforce, it creates competition with the younger people. There won't be enough jobs for younger workers if elderly people continue to work. So that's what it means by a shrinking pool of younger workers. Okay. So in the disadvantages, they discuss two aspects. Firstly, is healthcare. So it's putting a strain on healthcare systems. As people age, they suffer from more diseases, and yeah, this can lead to increased healthcare spending. So this is the healthcare aspect, right? The other is the economy, the work, the labor force. Once again, if there are more old people in the workforce, this will clash with the number of young people who want to join the workforce. Yeah. And it creates the negative impact on economic growth. All right. So is that clear for you now?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So overall, there are 3 advantages and 2 disadvantages mentioned. And that is why the writer leans more towards the advantages. Okay. All right. So we just looked at a sample band A. This is also one way you can approach the task. Writing 3 body paragraphs, one for the pros, one for the cons, and one to express your own opinion, because the task question asks you to do that. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages and give your own opinion. If it doesn't ask you to give your own opinion, you can just stop at just analyzing the pros and cons. Okay. All right. So I think that's enough time for us to look at the homework. The rest is in the writing skills module. So you did, once again, you did really well with the exercises. Just notice a bit for exercise 9. Yeah, so exercise 9, as a result, waiting lists for treatment are often long because there is such high demand. And in addition, there's often overuse of health facilities for minor reasons, as many people go to the doctor because it is free at the point of use. So these two are a bit similar, right? So you just need to pay attention a little bit. So that's for exercise 9. And the essay in exercise 10. So once again, you are approaching band 7. Well done. So to improve, you need to pay attention to the aspects I outlined. But firstly, linking words, okay? Remember to use more formal and academic linking words. So for example, on the bright side is quite spoken and informal. So what should you do instead? Instead of on the bright side, what do you think you should do? You should use here.
On the upside.
Actually, on the other hand.
Oh.
Yeah, it might sound boring, right? But that's academic writing. And I suggest that you use formal writing like that. And it's okay on the upside, on the bright side, it's very much okay for speaking, because speaking in IELTS is, well, it's spoken language firstly, and you are allowed to use a bit informal language in speaking. But for writing, the more academic you are, the better. So for example, on the other hand, it's a much more suitable alternative, okay? So on the other hand, state-funded medical coverage ensures healthcare is affordable for everyone. So that's a more academic language there. Okay, so the rest, you can have a look in your free time. There is detailed analysis of the score and explanation of the correction. So once again, your writing is approaching band 7. Good job. You have a good introduction, much better thesis statement compared to the student book writing. And also a conclusion that is clear and strong. However, on the body paragraph, pay attention to academic language. So please have a look at the correction to know what they are. Okay, I've also added band 7.5 and above essay and the sample answer from the course book for you. So a lot to read, right? But I hope that you will enjoy reading them and learn from them. All right, do you have any questions?
I don't.
Okay, so remember to access these files and read the sample and academic revision of your essay so that you can expand your vocabulary and grammar and improve your writing. Okay, so now it's our time to have a look at the practice test. All right, so today we have two tasks. Task 1, a bar chart, and task 2, discussion task, essay question. Okay, so I know that we haven't learned specifically bar chart or we haven't learned discussion, but I'd like you to just try your best and answer. Okay, so we'll discuss this in a few minutes to get you started, and then you can write this one today in this lesson. Okay, so first off, please read aloud the content for me.
The chart below shows the number of households in the US by their annual income in 2007, 2011, and 2015.
Thank you very much. Yeah, okay, the rest is the same in every task. Okay, so remember the 3 W's, okay? So what, where, when. So first off, what is the chart? It's a bar chart, right? Now, what does the bar chart show?
The bar chart shows the number of US households in millions by annual income.
That's right. So the number of households, and again, where is the data recorded?
In the US.
That's right. And when was the data recorded?
In 2007, 2011, and 2015.
Good job. So this is in the past. And you would use what tenses, please?
Past perfect and past tense.
Good job. Past tenses, normally simple and perfect. Okay, now, so this is the number of US households in millions. So yes, you can write the figures or the numbers are recorded in millions and so on. All right, so what are the income levels? Sorry, firstly, how many income levels are there?
There are 5 income levels.
The first one is?
Less than $25,000.
That's right. The second one?
$25,000 to 49 plus $999.
Yes, $49,999. The third one
Is $50,000 to $74,999.
and the fourth one
$75,000 to $99,999.
and the final one.
$100,000 and more.
Good job, well done. So a lot of numbers there, right? So let's see. For this task, it does have time change. So the time changes in 3 years, 2007, 2011, 2015. So for this task, you need to not only describe the changes through years of one income level, you also have to compare. You also have to compare the different income levels with each other. So I would suggest you follow a logical grouping. So what I mean by logical grouping, so remember that I told you for task 1, you need to divide your body paragraphs into 2 or 3 body paragraphs, right? So let me see the outline. Okay, so introduction, point out the 3 W, okay? Overview, point out the most prominent feature, the main ideas of the chart, and body 1 and 2 or 3. Yeah, you divide your data into groups, and you report the main features, including comparisons and data where relevant. Now, with this, I would advise you, well, there are two ways, actually. There are two ways. You can go in individual years, so 3 body paragraphs, one for 2007, one for 2011, and one for 2015. That's one way. But this approach does not allow you to compare across the years. So a second approach is to group the income levels according to the changes. So you would see, for example, less than $25,000, they increased and then decreased. Okay, 25,000 to 49,999, they increased and then decreased, all slightly. Okay, so those two groups increased and decreased. The other ones decrease, then increase, or slightly stay the same. Okay, so I would suggest you try grouping according to the trends of the income level, the groups that increase and decrease, and the groups that decrease and increase or stay the same. So you can think about that and try to use the approach that is most logical for you. Okay, but remember, in the overview, you must point out the level of income that is most common for US households. What is most common in 2007? What is least common in 2007? And yeah, the same goes for the other years. Okay, now let's move on. Do you have questions for this task?
No, I don't.
Okay, so let's move on to task 2. Can you please read the question?
Some university students want to learn about other subjects in addition to their main subjects. Others believe it is more important to give all their time and attention to studying for a qualification. Discuss both views and give your own opinion.
Okay, so once again, what is the first view?
The first view is some students want to learn other subjects in addition to their main subjects.
So for example, maybe an English major wanting to study economics, for example. Yeah. Now, what is the second view?
The second view is others believe that they should focus on their studying for a qualification.
So focusing solely on their own major. For example, if you are studying to become an architect, you study architect and you study art and you study painting, and that's all. You don't look at other subjects like finance and banking. Yeah, so that's view 2. Okay, what about your own view? So this is what you should do, right? You should explain why they have view 1, why they have view 2, and give your view and explain your view. Which way do you support? View 1, view 2, or some other way, if possible? Okay, so normally when you discuss the views, you explain why they have that view, normally by pointing out the advantages or the good points, the benefits of having that view. Okay, so this is my tip for you when you do this task. You spend 1 body paragraph to discuss the first view by explaining, pointing out the benefits of the first view. Then second body graph for the second view, why they have the second view, what are the benefits of the second view, some specific examples to include there. And if you have a lot of idea for your own opinion, you can have a third body paragraph explaining and giving examples for your own opinion. If not, you include that in the introduction and the conclusion. Okay, do you see my point?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I won't waste your time anymore. So today we have 40 minutes for task 1 and 20 minutes for task 2. That makes it 1 hour in total. Do you think you have enough time? Do you want to complete the whole thing? Or because unit 2 is task 2, we can only focus on task 2 writing. What do you want? Do you want to complete the whole test or just task 2?
Maybe just task 2.
Okay, because it's quite late and we don't have enough time in the lesson for all the tests, task 1 and 2. Okay, so now I will give you 40 minutes to complete task 2 in class. And after that, we will analyze a good sample for this task. All right. And task 1 will be your homework. All right. So here is task 2 again. Please open a file, a document to complete your task 2. Whenever you are ready, please tell me and I can start the time. I can start the timer.
I'm ready.
Okay, thank you, Nghi, for letting me know. So your 40 minutes for task 2 starts now. Good luck with your writing. Ok, cô chào Nguyên Nghi, cô chỉ bật mic lên để báo con là chúng ta còn 5 phút nữa nhé. Con nhớ sắp xếp thời gian làm bài và kiểm tra lại bài nhé. Ok, cô Hà chào Nguyên Nghi. Chúng ta đã hết 40 phút rồi. Con đã kịp viết xong và kiểm tra bài chưa?
Dạ rồi ạ.
Ok, good job. Thế thì Nghi sẽ lưu bài đó lại và con sẽ gửi cho cô cuối buổi học nhé. Với bài này thì con có gặp khó khăn gì cụ thể không ạ?
Dạ con không có kịp kịp viết cái opinion mình thành một đoạn riêng.
Không sao. Đó thì cô nhắc Nhi là cái opinion của mình đó. Thì thứ nhất là nếu đề có hỏi thì mình mới nói. Thì đề này là có hỏi đúng không? Và thì chúng ta sẽ phải nói. Tuy nhiên là đấy cô nhắc con là nếu mà mình có nhiều ý tưởng để phát triển thành một đoạn văn riêng đó thì mình mới cần viết riêng ra. Còn nếu không thì con chỉ cần đề cập đến nó trong phần mở bài, trong phần kết bài và trong phần thân bài con làm thế nào để con làm nổi bật được cái quan điểm mà con ủng hộ mà thôi. Đó thì nghĩa là mình không cần phải có một cái đoạn thân bài riêng cho opinion mà mình có thể là mình đề cập đến trong phần mở và tóm tắt ở phần kết, và trong phần thân mình nhấn mạnh là mình ủng hộ cái view này, view A hoặc là view B. Đó. Ok, thế bây giờ chúng ta tham khảo một cái bài viết tốt nhé. Nói tóm lại là có khá nhiều bài viết nhưng mà để cô xem là cái bài viết này có ổn không, cô cho mình sẽ tham khảo. Ok. Đó. Thì bây giờ Nghi sẽ dành thời gian xem cho cô cái bài này nhé. Đây là bài cô lấy, cô sưu tầm của Lily IELTS. Lily IELTS là một cô giáo viết cũng rất là tốt từ bên 7 trở lên. Đó thì đầu tiên là con dành ra khoảng 2 phút đi, con tự đọc bài này. Thế sau đó thì con kể lại với cô về mạch ý của bài và quan điểm của cô Lily khi viết bài này là như thế nào nhé. Nếu có cụm từ gì hay hay là cái điều gì thú vị con học được từ bài viết thì con cũng có thể kể lại cho cô.
Dạ con đọc xong rồi.
Ok, rồi cô sẽ gửi cái file này cho Nhi để con tham khảo, để con có thể đọc và đọc lại nhé. Bởi vì khi mình đọc nhiều lần, mỗi lần đọc mình sẽ ngẫm được một cái khía cạnh hay, một cái mới của bài. Chẳng hạn như là cái idea này họ họ phát triển như thế nào. Thực ra bài này không có quá nhiều ý tưởng, nhưng cô ấy đi rất là sâu, cô ấy phân tích ý tưởng, giải thích rồi đưa ra ví dụ. Đó thì con có thể tham khảo cái cách viết đấy, không cần quá nhiều ý tưởng. Quan trọng là một hoặc hai ý tưởng nhưng mình phân tích nó sâu, mình nhấn mạnh vào những gì để yêu cầu, discuss và give opinion. Đó, ok. Thế bây giờ nhìn lại cả bài này ạ, thế thì con xem cho cô là opinion của bài này là họ ủng hộ view one hay là view two ạ? Hay là cái view là study additional subjects hay là focus on their own qualification?
Dạ là view one.
Chính xác. Và cái từ vựng nào hay là cấu trúc câu nào giúp con xác định được cái opinion của cô Lily là view one ạ?
À, Having a well-rounded understanding of various subjects can empower individuals. Xong nguyên cái câu đó.
Ok, rồi thế bây giờ con nhìn lại cho cô trong phần mở bài ạ. Cái phần mở bài, cái phần nào nó thể hiện quan điểm của người viết ạ?
I am of the opinion that cross-disciplinary
Expertise,
expertise
expertise.
help pave the way for entrepreneurial endeavors.
Good job, well done. Rồi có thể có một số từ mới đúng không ạ? Nhưng mà cái đó chính là những từ mà cô muốn Nghi là con sẽ xoáy sâu và con đọc lại và con tra từ và con ghi chép xuống cho cô. Đấy, chúng ta học được từ mới là từ đọc những cái bài nâng cao như thế này đấy ạ. Đó thì cái câu đó nhé, cô tạm dịch nhé. Tôi thì ủng hộ quan điểm rằng cái kiến thức chuyên môn mà liên ngành cross-disciplinary expertise. Expertise là kiến thức chuyên môn giúp một cái người làm tốt một cái lĩnh vực nào đó hoặc là nhiều lĩnh vực nào đó cụ thể trong vấn đề này. Thì cross-disciplinary expertise là kiến thức chuyên môn liên ngành, nghĩa là không chỉ tập trung vào sư phạm hay là kinh tế hay là lịch sử vân vân, mà nó liên ngành luôn, học tất cả các ngành với nhau đó. Đó thì các cái kiến thức chuyên môn liên ngành đó nó giúp dẫn tới sự thành công trong các cái endeavors là các cái nỗ lực kinh doanh táo bạo. Đó, entrepreneur endeavors. Endeavors là nỗ lực và entrepreneur là liên quan đến kinh doanh, nhưng mà kinh doanh không phải là truyền thống là lợi nhuận rồi các thứ, mà nó còn liên quan đến việc chấp nhận rủi ro lớn để đạt được thành công lớn và nó đem lại cái ý nghĩa tốt cho xã hội. Đó, entrepreneur endeavors là như thế. Đó thì cô mới dịch sơ bộ thôi, nhưng mà con muốn hiểu sâu thì con sẽ về nhà và đọc lại và tra từ lại cho cô nhé. Đó, thế còn tóm lại cái bài này là đúng, cô đi giải thích hai cái quan điểm tại sao người ta lại có cái quan điểm là chỉ học cái bộ môn của họ thôi, đặc biệt là trong các ngành y hay là kỹ sư. Đó, thế nhưng ngược lại lại có những người ủng hộ là học đa ngành. Đó thì cái cô Lily này, cô theo cái khía cạnh là học đa ngành. Đó thì con có thể để ý cho cô nhé, không phải là chỉ có 3 body paragraph mà chỉ có hai thôi đúng không ạ? Body one là phân tích là focusing on one qualification, còn body two là focusing on many discipline. Đó, thế nhưng mà không chỉ dừng lại ở việc đấy, cô ấy có phản bác view two. Phản bác view two để con sẽ để cho cô nhé. However, in today's rapidly evolving landscape, qualifications earned during university years may lose relevance shortly after graduation, and concentrating narrowly on a single area can limit students' potential for career shifts. Đó thì một cái cách nữa ngoài cái việc là chúng ta dành riêng một body để nói opinion, thì chúng ta tích hợp nó luôn vào trong phần body one, body two, là chúng ta phản bác cái quan điểm mà chúng ta không ủng hộ và chúng ta ủng hộ cái quan điểm mà chúng ta thấy nó hợp lý hơn. I agree with this perspective because higher education comes at a significant cost, and successful business venture often yield greater returns than traditional 9 to 5 employment. Đó thì con sẽ thấy đây cũng là một cách làm nữa. Ngoài cái việc là 3 thân bài thì bây giờ chỉ có 2 thôi, nhưng mà phần cuối mỗi thân bài chúng ta phản bác hoặc là ủng hộ các cái quan điểm ở trong bài. Và đấy là một cách viết nữa nhé. Ok, thì cô sẽ gửi cho Nghi cái file này để con về tham khảo thêm, đọc lại và tra từ. Đó, rồi cô cảm ơn con tham gia buổi học hôm nay. Thế nhiệm vụ của Nghi khi về nhà nhé. Thì buổi hôm nay chúng ta đã đề cập một số các điểm con cần chú ý trong phần bài tập về nhà của Unit 2 Writing. Thì thứ nhất là con về con đọc lại kỹ hơn và đọc tiếp cái phần bài chữa và bài mẫu tốt. Đấy là thứ nhất, đọc cái bài mẫu tốt. Thứ hai là con hoàn thành đề Cambridge 18 Test 2, cả hai bài luôn ạ. Bài 1 thì chưa viết thì con tiến hành viết. Thế còn bài 2 con có thể xem lại, con có thể sửa lại nếu cần và con gửi cho cô. Đó. Như vậy hoạt động thứ nhất là đọc phần Unit 2 Writing Homework Check. Và thứ hai là hoàn thiện Test 2 này. Và thứ ba nữa là cô sẽ gửi cho con cái đề chúng ta vừa xem nhé, có cả part 1 nữa. Thì cái này là sau khi con làm xong. Sau khi con làm xong Cambridge 18 Test 2 thì con sẽ đọc nhé. Và như vậy là 3 hoạt động đấy ạ. Ok Nhi ơi, mọi thứ rõ chưa con?
Dạ rồi ạ.
Ok, rồi cô cảm ơn Nghi nhé, con chịu khó nhé. Để mà viết tốt là chúng ta cần phải phải đọc tốt nhé. Đấy, giống như hôm trước là cô giáo của con gái cô bảo là đọc thông thì mới viết thạo đấy. Đó thì chúng ta chịu khó đọc nhiều vào nhé. Thì chúng ta sẽ tích lũy được vốn từ và ý tưởng để mình viết tốt. Ok, cô chúc Nghi là sẽ học được nhiều thứ bổ ích qua cái việc đọc này và chúc con làm bài tốt. Cô sẽ hẹn gặp con vào tuần thứ 3 tuần tới nhé. Ok, goodbye, have a nice weekend.
Good night.
Thank you very much.